For a long time, the idea that there's reverse racism against white people was treated as a racist canard. But a new viral article in Compact magazine by writer Jacob Savage found that young white men have vanished from white-collar and creative professions. In 2014, white men were 31% of American medical students. By 2025, they were just 20%. White men dropped from 31% of law school graduates to 25%, from 48% of lower-level TV writers to just 12%. The Atlantic's editorial staff went from 53% male and 89% white to 36% male and 66% white. And white men fell to just 18% of tenure-track positions in the humanities at Harvard. This wasn't by accident, it was by design, DEI design, to overcome what had been admittedly terrible discriminatory practices that kept out women and people of color. White-collar industries simply reversed the discrimination and aimed it at white guys. It's really appalling because all racial discrimination is appalling. Here with us now to discuss is GOP political advisor Mark McKinnon. Mark, thank you so much for joining me. So what did you make of this article?
Well, the data doesn't lie. I'm in the middle of working on a documentary on Gen Z, and it reflects a lot of what I've been seeing over the last couple of years looking into this issue. Clearly, there's been a profound impact culturally, politically, across the board for young men, and we're seeing it in the employment place as well as everywhere else. So what's clear is that young white men have been ignored in the workplace and in colleges and elsewhere, and they've been denied opportunity. And that's the real thing that's been going on, is that this is a cohort, a demographic cohort that has just been ignored by society in general, by politics, by culture across the board. And so that's why Donald Trump was so successful, but also Mondami was successful in his election, because they said the most important things. This is what Charlie Kirk did. The three most important words in politics are "I hear you." And this is a group of our electorate that for years had not been listened to and not been paid attention to and been completely ignored. So this is a really interesting finding that certainly supports what we're seeing in our documentary.
Amazing. Tell us some other things that you found in the documentary. What is their emotional reaction to this, and what are young people telling you?
Well, the most profound implication and discovery that we've had is just how much the young men have felt denied by society the opportunity to participate. And what's happening is that as a result of that, they have turned to social media, that they're not interacting. And that's what's really profound, is that young men and young women, for lots of complicated reasons, are not interacting. They're not dating, they're not marrying, and they're not having children. So play that out over a couple of decades down the line, you see severe consequences. But, you know, I mean, there's a really interesting statistic that something like 80% of young men have never actually asked a woman out in person. So those are very complicated things that are, you know, political, cultural, social media, lots of things going on there. But what we do know is that when you put this all together, the demographic cohort that has been most impacted by all of this is young men.
Yeah, I think there was this sort of overcorrection in the wake of the Me Too era, to where they got the message that even totally normal, in fact, necessary, mating behaviors would be taken as harassment or aggressive by young women. And so they just said, forget it, we're out.
Yeah, much safer to just stand back and say, okay, well, I don't want to be accused of anything, or, being too masculine. So I'm not even going to get on the playing field.
Which is horrible, because, of course, a society needs men. I mean, it's just insane that nobody could see this coming.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.